Even today, after decades of practice, with each new patient who walks through the door with hemorrhoids, I see in his eyes the same mix of shame, discomfort, and a silent pain that he often can't even verbalize. It's as if the disease affects not only the body, but also their very dignity. And the saddest thing is knowing that, for most of them, the suffering is intensified by something they themselves are doing or not doing without even realizing it. So, if you suffer from hemorrhoids, I implore you, stop doing this now. In our chat today, I'm going to reveal the most common mistakes and hidden that sabotage your recovery and even worsen your condition. Let's understand together why that quick fix you try may actually be trapping you in a vicious cycle of pain and discomfort, and how small, often counterintuitive changes can make a huge difference in your daily life. You'll discover the secrets that, in my experience, are the true game changer between living hostage to pain and finally recovering your quality of life. You're about to understand why, for many, improvement eludes you, and how the right approach can literally transform your reality. I know all too well what the daily grind is like for those with hemorrhoids. It's the difficulty sitting, the fear of going to the bathroom, the discomfort that haunts your every move. It's the feeling that your body has betrayed you, trapping you in a spiral of pain and frustration. Patients tell me about the shame of talking about it, the difficulty concentrating at work, the travel plans that are postponed, and even the impact on intimacy. This pain isn't just physical. It infiltrates every corner of your life, undermining your confidence and isolating you. I remember Clara, a 40-year-old executive, who came to my office with tears in her eyes, telling me that she was losing important clients because she couldn't sit still long enough in meetings, and that even the simple act of walking her dog had become a torture. Her life was shrinking, and shame prevented her from seeking help more effectively. What many don't realize is that hemorrhoids are, essentially, swollen and inflamed veins in the anal or rectal region. Think of them as varicose veins, but in an extremely sensitive area, subjected to great pressure. This condition, which affects millions of people globally, it's estimated that nearly 50% of the population over 50 has had or will have hemorrhoids at some point, is often aggravated by seemingly innocent habits that put even more strain on these delicate veins. And this is precisely where the danger and the opportunity for change lie. Often, the first thing I see in the doctor's office is a lack of knowledge about what actually aggravates hemorrhoids. The biggest mistake, and perhaps the most common, is excessive straining during bowel movements. I know that urgency and discomfort can lead to this, but it's crucial to understand that pressure is one of the main culprits. Imagine your anal veins as balloons filled with air. Every time you strain to have a bowel movement, you're literally squeezing and pushing these balloons against a wall. This increases blood pressure within them, stretching and damaging them, resulting in swelling and pain. Studies show that people who spend more than 10 minutes in the bathroom have a significantly higher risk of developing or worsening hemorrhoids. It's a vicious cycle. The pain makes you dread going, you put it off, your stool becomes drier, and then you have to strain more. Another critical error is low fiber diet. Our ancestors, who ate more natural foods, rarely suffered from this problem. Today, with the abundance of processed and refined foods, fiber intake has plummeted for most people. Fiber is like a natural sponge for the intestine, absorbing water and making stool soft and bulky. Without it, stool becomes hard and dry, requiring much greater effort to be eliminated, which, as we've seen, is disastrous for hemorrhoids. Think of the difference between pushing a rock and pushing a cloud. Fiber turns the rock into a cloud in your intestine. Many also ignore the importance of adequate hydration. Water is essential for fiber to function properly. If you consume a lot of fiber but drink little water, the effect may be the opposite of what you expect. The fiber can compact and worsen constipation. I often say that water is the lubricant of the intestine. Without it, everything becomes rougher and more painful. The time we spend sitting, whether at work, watching TV, or using our cell phones in the bathroom, also contributes to the problem. Prolonged sitting posture, especially on hard surfaces, increases pressure on the anal veins. It's as if you're constantly squeezing a hose, hindering blood flow and causing swelling. Even short breaks to get up and walk around every hour can make a noticeable difference in preventing and relieving symptoms. I know that up to this point, it may seem like I'm talking about obvious things, but the truth is that the obvious is often ignored, and it's precisely in this neglect that the problem takes root and deepens. Have you ever stopped to think about how these small, seemingly harmless daily habits accumulate and create the perfect scenario for hemorrhoids to take hold and worsen? It's like the straw that keeps breaking the camel's back. A mistake I see frequently in the office is self-measurement and the indiscriminate use of ointments and suppositories. These topical solutions often offer temporary relief from the most uncomfortable symptoms, such as itching and pain. But it's crucial to understand that they don't address the root cause of the problem. It's like putting a bandage on a leak without turning off the faucet. The problem will remain, and worse, it can worsen. Furthermore, prolonged use of some of these substances can irritate the delicate skin in the area, causing other problems and even masking more serious conditions. I've seen cases where self-medication delayed the diagnosis of other pathologies because patients confused the symptoms. The lack of regular physical activity is another crucial factor that many people overlook. A sedentary lifestyle slows down metabolism and intestinal transit, contributing to constipation. Body movement helps propel food through the digestive system and strengthen the pelvic muscles. I'm not talking about becoming an Olympic athlete, but about incorporating walking, light stretching, or any activity that gets you off the couch for at least 30 minutes most days of the week. It's surprising how such a simple habit can have such a significant impact on gut health and, consequently, on the prevention and relief of hemorrhoids. Being aware of these mistakes is the first step toward change. If what I'm sharing with you resonates with your experience and you're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel, I invite you to take a simple yet powerful step. Leave your like on this video and subscribe to the channel. This way, you ensure you don't miss any more valuable tips that can transform your health, and you also help spread this information to more people who need help. Continuing our conversation, an aspect that often goes unnoticed, but which has a huge impact on intestinal health, is neglect of body signals. Our body sends us messages all the time, but in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, we end up ignoring them. How many times have you felt the urge to go to the bathroom and held it in because you were busy in an inconvenient place or simply out of laziness? This habit of postponing bowel movements is one of the biggest contributors to constipation and, consequently, to the onset and worsening of hemorrhoids. When you hold in stool, it stays in the intestine longer, losing water and hardening, which, as we've already discussed, requires greater effort to eliminate. It's crucial to heed nature's call as soon as it arises. Consider it an urgent priority for your health. Another point that many underestimate is the chronic stress. We live in a world where stress is almost second nature, but few people make the connection between stress and digestive health. Stress affects the autonomic nervous system, which controls the body's involuntary functions, including digestion. When we're stressed, the body goes into fight or flight mode, diverting resources from the digestive system and slowing intestinal transit. This can lead to constipation, which in turn increases pressure on hemorrhoidal veins. Learning to manage stress, whether through breathing techniques, meditation, or relaxing activities, can have a surprisingly positive effect not only on your mind but also on your gut. Many patients also do not realize that the excessive use of laxatives can backfire. Initially, they may seem like a quick fix for constipation, but prolonged use can create dependency, weakening the intestinal muscles and making the bowel lazy. This means that without the laxative, your body will have even more difficulty evacuating naturally, perpetuating the cycle of constipation and hemorrhoids. It's essential to find the cause of constipation and treat it naturally rather than relying on artificial solutions that, in the long run, only worsen the problem. I've seen cases like that of João, a university professor who spent years using laxatives daily. He described how he felt trapped by them, and with each attempt to stop, the constipation returned with a vengeance, accompanied by bleeding hemorrhoids. It was a long journey, but with the right dietary and lifestyle changes and the gradual weaning off of laxatives, he was finally able to restore natural bowel function and get rid of his hemorrhoids. João's story is a powerful reminder that the right approach is always one that addresses the root of the problem, not just temporary symptom relief. I realize that, for many, this journey of changing habits can seem challenging. That's why dialogue and sharing experiences are so important. If you've identified with any of these mistakes or have any questions about how to start changing, I invite you to leave your comment below, share your experiences, your struggles, or your triumphs. Your story can inspire and help others going through the same thing. And I personally will do my best to answer your questions and guide you on this journey. Still in the wake of the misconceptions that perpetuate the suffering of hemorrhoids, a crucial point that many disregard is the inadequate or excessive hygiene. It seems paradoxical, doesn't it? But both poor hygiene and the use of irritating products can aggravate the situation. The anal area is extremely sensitive. Cleaning yourself aggressively with rough toilet paper or using wipes containing alcohol, perfumes, and other chemicals can cause irritation, inflammation, and even minor skin injuries, opening the door to infection and intensifying pain and itching. Warm water is your best friend at this point. A sitz bath with pure warm water can provide immediate relief and help cleanse the area without harming it. It's a simple yet incredibly effective practice for soothing the area and promoting healing. Another factor that aggravates the condition and which is very present in our daily lives is excessive consumption of caffeine and alcohol. These substances are diuretics, meaning they increase urine production and can lead to dehydration. And as we've already discussed, dehydration makes stools harder, making them more difficult to pass and increasing pressure on hemorrhoidal veins. Furthermore, alcohol can dilate blood vessels, worsening swelling and inflammation in the anal area. I'm not saying you should completely eliminate these drinks from your life, but moderating your consumption, especially during flare-ups or if you're already prone to hemorrhoids, can make a significant difference. And speaking of food, it is essential that we talk about peppers and strong spices. Although many cultures adore them, for hemorrhoid sufferers, excessive consumption can trigger discomfort. Compounds present in chili peppers, such as capsaicin, can irritate the gastrointestinal tract and, when excreted, cause a burning sensation in the anal region, exacerbating the pain and inflammation of existing hemorrhoids. This isn't a universal rule, and some people tolerate them well. But if you notice that your symptoms worsen after consuming these foods, it's worth reducing your intake and observing your body's response. I believe that by now you should have much greater clarity about what you might be doing wrong. And this clarity is the first step toward healing. I see many patients come to the office with a list of solutions they've tried, but they were only temporary bandages. They focused on the pain and the itching, but not on the root of the problem. It's like trying to dry a wet floor without fixing the leak in the ceiling. The key Torial transformation. It's an integrated approach that combines lifestyle changes with the most effective treatments available in nature and science. It's not a magic pill, but a protocol that works on several fronts to restore your gut health and strengthen your veins. I understand that all this information can seem a bit overwhelming, and that applying each tip individually can be challenging. After all, who has time to research every food, every fiber, the right amounts, the best supplements, and still ensure it all works together. This is the convenience gap many face. You want the solution, but you don't have the time to become an expert. Therefore, after years of research and seeing the results in my patients, I can confidently say that the most effective approach to hemorrhoids is one that combines scientific knowledge with the wisdom of nature. It requires a protocol that not only relieves symptoms, but also strengthens vein walls, improves blood flow, regulates intestinal transit, and reduces inflammation systemically. Considering all these principles, the quality of the ingredients, the correct dosages, the synergy between the components to address the multiple causes of hemorrhoids, I always seek the best available to recommend to my patients, and it is based on this relentless pursuit of the most complete and effective solution that I guide you to the protocol that I indicate and that is detailed in the link in the description and in the first pinned comment of this video. This isn't just a product, but a carefully crafted approach that brings together the elements I mentioned throughout our conversation in an easy-to-implement format that truly delivers lasting results. It's a solution that I, as a physician with decades of experience, trust, and that has already transformed the lives of countless people. It was designed to save you the research effort, common mistakes, and expense of fragmented solutions that don't work. It's important to emphasize that while most people can benefit greatly from this approach, there are some situations where caution is warranted. If you are pregnant or breastfeeding, have a chronic inflammatory bowel disease, such as Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, or are taking anticoagulant medications, it's essential that you speak with your doctor before starting any new protocol or supplement. Each case is unique, and professional supervision is always the best way to ensure your safety and the best results. My mission is to guide you toward the safest and most effective path for your health. Understanding the underlying causes of your hemorrhoids and stopping the mistakes I mentioned is the turning point. The difference between living with constant pain and discomfort and living a fulfilling, hemorrhoid-free life often lies in small but powerful changes in habits and choosing the right approach. You no longer have to accept pain as part of your life. Believe me, your transformation is possible. I've seen it happen with hundreds of patients who, like you, came to my office disillusioned and exhausted, but who, by adopting the right approach, regained their freedom and quality of life. It's a journey, yes, but you're not alone. I hope this conversation has opened your eyes to the possibilities for relief and healing. Remember, knowledge is power, and action is the path to change. If this video helped you see a new path, I ask that you subscribe to the channel to continue receiving valuable information that can transform your health. And if you know someone who also suffers from hemorrhoids, share this video. You could be planting the seed of hope in the life of someone who desperately needs help. Your health is your most precious asset, and investing in it is the greatest act of self-love you can do.